Hello, it's Rob from Fountain Pen Journey, revisiting a pen that I completely discredited. I did a video review recently of the Lanbitou 3059. This is that pen. I mentioned in the video there was no writing sample at all, and the main reason for that being is this pen, if you leave it for, 48 hours capped, it will not write at all. The ink dries out. It's a terribly unreliable pen, which is unfortunate because it is actually quite a nice writer. It's a very smooth nib, holds a lot of ink, it's a piston filler, it's very cheap on eBay, and I'm recording this video. Apologies for the handheld camera work, but I just want to do a quick test on this pen to see whether my fix worked. Basically, I've messed around with this pen before, trying to put silicone grease in around the screw inside the cap, which didn't work at all. All it really did was end up gumming up the nib with silicone grease, so that was a non-starter. And the nib still dried out. So this time what I used was some, if you just bear with me, I shall bring it into the camera. So what I used was this Bostik all-purpose clear adhesive. Nothing fancy. It's quite viscous, so it stays put. It's not a highly fluid adhesive, so I didn't want something that was just going to run out through all the gaps. But somebody recommended that I try using something like Gorilla Glue in my previous video. I did have a look at the Gorilla Glue, thank you for that suggestion. I was partly put off by using Gorilla Glue for two reasons. The first one, it cures with the aid of moisture, and I didn't fancy adding moisture to the pen because I don't know what sort of, not reaction, but sort of how it's going to respond. I mean, I've worked with all sorts of adhesives in my working life and in hobbies, and it just didn't really sort of sit right with me. Also, Gorilla Glue expands. I think it expands up to 3 times its own initial volume on curing, which kind of put me off putting it into the base of this pen, because I thought, if I'm dribbling a load of glue in here, is it going to start swelling up? How do I know I've got enough in there? You know, is it going to interfere with the tip of the nib? Things like that. So I thought, no, let's just go with something which I can dribble down there into the cap, hopefully seal up the screw and the associated hardware in the end of the cap here. So I chose this stuff, Bostik All Purpose. All I did was simply unscrew the cap. I'm not going to do it because I actually want to do the writing test first. But all it needed was unscrew the cap, place it on a flat surface like that, get my tube of adhesive straight down the cap. Careful if you do this, and if you try it, get it straight into the bottom of the cap. So the cap is like that. Get it straight down at the bottom. Don't dribble it, and don't try not to get any strands of glue, because what will happen is there are threads around this part of the cap where it screws onto the barrel of the pen. If you get a load of glue in there, well, basically you're not going to be able to cap and uncap your pen very easily if it sets. You can wipe it off, you can scrape it off, but you know, right first time, you know, it's going to make your life easier. So what I did then, I did all four. I've got 4 different colours of the Lanbitou 3059. There's the black one, there's the white one, green one, and a red one. Basically, it's the colour of the cap. Black version I filled with black ink, and I'm hopeful that when I take the cap off, this pen won't have dried out. Timescale, I did that fix on Thursday last week. It is now Tuesday evening, so it's had a good few days to actually sort of dry out, if it is going to dry out. Oh, one other thing before I forget. This glue, when I dribbled it into the base of all the caps. I left it to set overnight, so I unscrewed the barrel from the caps of each pen, stood the caps upright with the glue in the bottom of the cap, and left them overnight to cure and dry, which seems to have been absolutely fine. So let's uncap this pen and see if it writes. If it doesn't write, this video is going to end rather abruptly. There we go. I'm hopeful. It could be a bit of a hard start. Make sure I've got the nib the right way up. There we go. It writes, no hard start. Nothing which I would call a hard start there. So that is working, and it is a very, very nice nib. I'm really pleased with that. This fix has actually worked. This has fixed the pen, so this is great. So what I'm going to do now is do a quick writing sample for you. Excuse the handheld camera work once again. So I shall write down what I can. I'm sorry, the angle of the lighting in here is not good. I'll tell you what, can I pop on the... No, I can't turn on the video light on here. I'll do my best. Okay, so this is the Lanbitou 3059. The ink, in case you are interested, is Waterman Intense Black. Okay, well this is great. This pen is now working without any problems at all. I've done absolutely no work on this nib. This is the Lanbitou nib that it was supplied with. It's, if you like, very similar to a Lamy nib with the winged sides. Quite an ordinary looking steel nib, if you want to call Lamy nibs ordinary looking. Let's do the writing sample now. Yep, no issues at all with writing that. Do a bit of a wetness smeary test. See if it keeps up with the nib and feed. I've never had any issues when this pen is actually not dried out. That is actually quite dry. I really am quite surprised with that. No issues at all with the nib keeping up, but wow, that is surprisingly dry. Yeah, still, I'm happy. This pen writes well. It's a wet writer. I've never had any issues when this has just been first inked up, left overnight, used the following day at work. It's been brilliant. It writes lovely. It's a really good pen. But leave it 2 days or longer and the nib completely dries up. So, putting a bit of that glue down into the base of there to seal up the, there we go, to seal, I mean it's a clear adhesive, you can't really tell, but the screw that is in the base of that cap, dribbled Bostik adhesive, all-purpose adhesive onto that directly from above, let it fill the space at the bottom so it's all sealed, and that has sealed the cap. So this pen now writes after, where are we, Thursday, it was Thursday afternoon in fact, so it's, yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's basically had 5 full days to dry out, which is actually pretty impressive. This nib, what can I say? It's not scratchy, it's smooth. Yeah, not a problem at all with any of this. See if we can get some line variation out of it. Nah, it's quite a stiff nib. There's not much going to happen with that. No line variation, but I don't care. It works. I'm actually quite happy. In fact, I'm very happy this works. I've been very, very disappointed with this pen because the nib's great. It's a piston filler. It's cheap. It looks good. It's got a clear section, so you can see the ink in there. Unfortunately, the feed isn't clear, but hey, you can't have everything. Bit of a Twisby rip-off, but you know, if you want a cheap fountain pen, if you want to get into fountain pens and use one, I still wouldn't recommend it because I'm sorry, I shouldn't have to do fixes by dribbling glue into the bottom of the cap to seal it, to stop the nib drying out. So no, not recommended for somebody who's just starting out, because it could just completely put you off using fountain pens. You just go, oh, they dry out. Don't use these things, they're terrible. Go back to using a ballpoint. No, with this fix, I'm very happy with this pen. It works brilliantly now. I'm really, really happy with that, because that means that I now have 4 very cheap piston fillers that write really, really well. I'm very happy with my Wingsung 3008. I've got a few of those, and they're nice pens. These look a little bit more industrial, being a bit more Twisby-esque. The 3008s, the colour schemes are a little bit too, I mean, they're sort of metallic blues, greens, pinks, purples. A little bit, I don't want to say it, but a little bit feminine. Whereas this looks a lot more industrial. I'm not saying manly, it just looks more industrial. And I am actually really pleased that this pen now writes well, even with the cap being left on there for 5 days. This fix has worked, so yeah, it's a thumbs up from that point of view. I'm happy that this pen works, but it shouldn't be something that you need to do to any pen. It should be one of these things that works well without that. It shouldn't dry out. One thing that one of my other viewers has mentioned in the comments on my Lanbitou 3059, hello David, just point out that the Lanbitou 3059 has a similar screw at the base of the cap inside that rusts. It's open to corrosion from ink and moisture that gets inside the cap, and I may well consider dribbling some of this adhesive in there just to protect that screw, to prevent that corrosion from occurring, just stop anything from getting worse, because it's a good pen and I want the thing to last. So that is something that I might do. So Lanbitou 3059, it works. You have to do the ink inside the cap, stand it upright overnight, like that, dribble it down, leave it overnight to cure and set. You've got a working pen now, which is great. So don't recommend it from that point of view, but I'm happy. It writes, and there's no hard starts with this. This is, to be honest, when I first tried these pens, unknown brand, having previously bought Wingsongs and Jinhaos before, so Lanbitou, bit of an unknown, sounded like a nice pen. I think I watched a review, it might have been Chris Rapp, he reviewed this pen and I thought, wow, brilliant, yeah, they're really cheap off of eBay. Try it out, and yeah, it was one of those things. I think I inked it up on Sunday evening, took it to work Monday, wrote with it all day. Absolutely loved the lovely, smooth, easy to write with nib. I mean, it requires no pressure. It's fantastic. And then left it about 4 days, and it wasn't even a hard start. There was nothing. It just did not do anything. I thought, what was happened to it? So yeah, then found out that it has this ink drying out problem with the cap on. So glad that people suggested this, because now I have 4 decent piston fillers, which write lovely. So thank you for watching. Thank you for also your comments in this and previous videos, and I hope that you will continue to join me on my fountain pen journey. If you haven't subscribed already, click the subscribe button, so I'll go through all sorts of things like this, little tips, little learning points that I discover on the way. And if you're a newcomer to fountain pens, I hope you find them useful. If you're a seasoned fountain pen aficionado, then please do leave comments and help me out. Anything constructive and helpful, let me know. I am moving on from cheap Chinese fountain pens, so don't just think I'm looking at the low end of the market. It is a journey. I will be looking at some other things at some point in the very near future. So please do stay tuned to my channel, and thanks for watching. Bye.